Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim says he will take on the Finance Ministry portfolio, which he first helmed 3 decades ago in the 1990s. He named BN's Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi and Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof of GPS as Deputy Prime Ministers. Ahmad Zahid will also serve as Rural Development Minister, while Fadillah will man the Plantations and Commodities portfolio. Also included in the lineup are Saifuddin Nasution Ismail as Home Minister, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Abdul Aziz as International Trade and Industry Minister, Anthony Loksio Fok as Transport Minister, Muhammad Rafizi Ramli as Economy Minister, Muhammad Sabu, who will serve as Agriculture Minister, and Muhammad Hassan, who will helm the Defence Ministry. Anwar added that the Finance Ministry will be assisted by a team of advisors led by former Petronas President and CEO Tan Sri Muhammad Hassan Marikan. In total, there are 28 ministers in Anwar's cabinet lineup. They will be sworn in at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The PM said deputy ministers will be announced at a later date. RHB research says more sectors booked results that missed expectations for the third quarter of calendar year 2022 versus the previous corresponding quarter, following various cost pressures and challenging external environments. RHB said in a note today that investor caution is warranted, although news flow on US monetary conditions, events in China and easing domestic political risk offer scope for less pessimism. The research house noted that 4 sectors have exceeded expectations versus 5 sectors in the second quarter of calendar year 2022. The sectors are banks, oil and gas, auto and property. Meanwhile, 7 sectors missed expectations compared to 5 in the immediate preceding quarter. The sectors are plantation, media, construction, gaming, healthcare, rubber gloves and basic materials. Utilities, telecoms and consumer sectors performed in line. RHB said investors are beginning to price in expectations that the pace of monetary tightening is close to peaking. It is also of the view that China's zero-COVID stance is increasingly unsustainable and that a more pragmatic approach by Beijing will give a major fillip to investor sentiment. On the domestic front, RHB said the new unity government needs to prove its ability to work together and that subsidy and fiscal reforms will be the acid test. It said investors should start to actively look for opportunities to build positions for the medium term and buy on weakness and refocus on fundamentals with a preference for large cap value stocks. Muhibbah Engineering Malaysia succeeded in obtaining leave in its judicial review to challenge the tax assessments imposed by the Inland Revenue Board or IRB. This is after the Federal Court dismissed an appeal by the IRB to challenge the leave granted to the company and also the stay of proceedings against the payment of disputed tax assessments that was granted by the Court of Appeal. The 3-member bench also directed the taxman to pay costs of 50,000 ringgit to Muhibbah Engineering. The IRB is said to have disallowed certain construction expenses incurred between 2015 and 2016 to the tune of over 190 million ringgit that Muhibbah Engineering had accrued on the premise that the expenses had not been disbursed. This in turn has affected the amount of losses available for Muhibbah Engineering to be surrendered to its related party, Muhibbah Marine Engineering. With the decision, the High Court will hear the company's judicial review application at a later date. Perodua saw its monthly and year-to-date sales performances and production numbers reach new highs in November as it maximized its resources to meet higher demand. The National Compact Car Company said it sold 250,795 units between January and November, surpassing its full-year target of 247,800 units announced earlier in the year. That's up 50% from 167,250 units sold in in the same period last year and represents its highest ever sales achievement. Monthly sales also hit a new record of 28,592 units in November, an increase of 40.9% from 20,299 units sold in the previous corresponding month, and a 10.6% month-on-month hike versus 25,849 units in October. The top three models sold in November are the Beza at 8,089 units, Myvi at 6,624 units, and Axia 5,812 units. Its president and CEO Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim Ahmad said the sales achievement is on the back of Perodua's production achievement, which numbered 258,960 units during the January to November period. It also achieved its highest monthly production ever since inception at 29,149 units. Apex Equity Holdings saw its share price jump after announcing that the Securities Commission, or SC, initiated legal action against the company in relation to its second largest shareholder, Ace Group. The counter rose to an intraday high of RM1.19 before paring gains to close still 4.17% higher at RM1. That values the company at RM213.56 million. Yesterday, Apex Equity announced that the regulator is seeking a court declaration that its subsidiary Apex Securities has contravened securities laws and that Ace Holdings, a part of the Ace Group, has been knowingly involved in the contravention. The SC claimed that Apex Securities breached securities laws as Ace has become a controller of Apex Securities when Ace is not a fit and proper person to do so. It is seeking a court order to restrain Ace from being a controller not just of Apex Securities but of any holder of a capital markets services license. It also wants to remove relevant directors and senior management personnel from Apex Equity and Apex Securities. Apex Equity said it is seeking legal advice and will strenuously defend the case. The matter is fixed for case management on December 12th.